everyone. My name is Matthew Silpot and welcome to this channel. Welcome to this space where we do music education, and today we're going to be looking at CXC music. We're going to be navigating through the papers that are done or given at this time. So for those of us who are new to this experience, welcome. Do not be flustered. Take your time and go through. I'm going to be making this content available, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. You can share, leave a comment. There's also a following on TikTok via Mr. Sar's Music Zone. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So I'd like to ask, beginning, how are you feeling now? Because it's important to know how you're feeling at the start. So when you get to the end of the process, you say, no, when am I going so far? Something like that. So you want to share, drop a comment in the message, in the comment section, how you're feeling at the start. So if you can read between the lines or decode, I hope you can get these little slides and put a smile on your face. It's not all that bad if you can figure them out. All right, so I hope that you get these little decoding things and you have a nice little smile on your face. So in anything that we do in terms of exams or assessment, we are to be guided by what the table looks like, or the rubric. This is pulled straight from the syllabus, and you'll see exactly the weight of each paper. In CXC, we have 3 papers that you're going to be sitting. Papers 1, 2, and 3. Paper 1 is worth 40%. Paper 2 is worth 34%. And your paper 3 is worth 26%. That will give you a total of 100% points possible that you can get. You can do it, right? Of course, these scores are pulled right from the syllabus. So there we go. So our paper 1, which is our LIAP, or listening and appraising according to CXC standards. In this particular paper, you are given 60 multiple choice questions. And each section, there are 3 sections rather, and each has to do with listening to audio samples and relating the answers to the scores presented. So the paper comprises 60 questions drawn equally from music perception, 20, music literacy, 20, and musical history, 20. The music perception is based on brief musical excerpts not previously studied by candidates, so it's not anything that you would have gotten before. And there we go again. So it won't be any audio that has been presented before. The audio is played a number of times pertinent to the challenge of the tasks, and candidates should respond spontaneously to the elements of unprepared music. Candidates will respond to questions based directly and indirectly on recorded extracts of music from different genres and styles. Now, the music literacy is worth 20 as well, and the literacy is based on a complete piece of music or a section for which both a score and an audio recording are provided. It requires candidates to demonstrate their reading and manuscript literacy skills in relation to applied theory, right? And then you will be required to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of conventional notation, by relating an audio excerpt to the score. Questions will also focus on structural and expressive elements, for example, tonality, tempi, and dynamics. Your music history section is where selected periods will be featured, inclusive of their styles and forms. So the music periods usually are Baroque, classical, romantic, 20th century, and Caribbean and present day style periods of music, including popular and avant garde styles. Of course, you'll be guided by your teacher in terms of these excerpts and these particular periods, so you'll have an idea of the stylistic features, some notable composers as well. So in your paper two, you are being guided by these four bubbles, and all of them are pertaining to the music character. So you want to look at, ensure rather, that you have accuracy of pitches and rhythm. So if you're playing or singing, as much mastery of the piece as possible you should have. We're looking at musicality and expression, which is featuring tempo, dynamics, and articulation. We're also looking for interpretation of music with understanding of the stylistic context and genre. So you shouldn't be singing a sad song like it's the best day of your life. Interpretation is key. And perform. Technique and tone quality is also highlighted for assessment. So be guided by these in your performances. Next thing you may ask, what exactly should be prepared to go to Barbados? Of course, we know that there's a section of your paper two that goes directly to Barbados, right? So the composition requirements of candidates are the viva voce, which you'll hear a lot more of. Viva voce is a small interview between you and the examiner, and your submission of your compositions. So you should have in this particular folder one original composition with written profile analysis and an audio recording. This is one that you have come up all on your own, of course with some guidance, and you're also supposed to have one arrangement which includes the original lead score, also a written profile analysis and a recording. So you should have three scores in this file. One is your original, one is the original score of a piece that you're going to arrange, and the other is the arranged score. You should also have two audio recordings. Ensure also that your recordings match what is written. This is important. Ensure your recording matches what is written on your scores. And of course, the Viva Voce will be sent, which is their interview as well. So for your paper two as well, the examination has two parts. So there's a solo, which is a prepared performance, where you're asked to present a solo from any of your pieces that you have in your folder. Supposed to be also accompanying that with a scale and an arpeggio or a technical study. In terms of technical study, there are some unique instruments that need to be accompanied with technical studies, so like voice or percussion, persons who are doing those types of instruments. Candidates will present a file of pieces learned during a 2-year period. They will also participate in a viva voce with the examiner on the file that is presented. The requirements of the examination are as follows. Your solo is worth 28 marks, which is broken down for presenting a well-rehearsed piece, and that should be out of 19. Then you have to perform a scale and an arpeggio or the technical study, which is worth 5, and then your viva voce is out of 4. So prepare your piece, do it well, perform also this scale and the arpeggio, and be prepared to have a discussion with the examiner, which should be on scene. You're also, as mentioned before, to present your folder with your compositions. So that encompasses all that you would need to do for paper 2, right? And these things are highlighted in the syllabus that you can consult for yourself, as well as the guidance of your teacher. Now, you should be familiar with these forms. Pardon the first one. This is not for paper 2. The first one is actually for paper 3. But the categories, except for the third one, which is showing an ensemble rubric, won't apply. But you will have it for paper 3. But you should be familiar with your composing profile. So all of these things, you notice that you are supposed to write the title of your composition 1, which is your original. The composition 2, you should write that title as well. All the examiners will be doing is to check to ensure that these are present, as well as to tick if the performance was done live or not. And then there's a mark for viva voce, which is our interview. You should be familiar with this form as well, which is your declaration form, where you have your signature, your teacher's signature, and also the school's stamp and seal accompanied. This is very important because that has to be in the folder that is to be sealed and sent to Barbados. This form as well, your compositional profile analysis, which you are to be filling out properly. So that includes your name, your number, the names of the compositions, and you see some main things that are being checked: the genre, main steps. This area is where I encourage journaling to take place, because you need to document all that you have been doing over the time spent with these pieces. Do a day-to-day analysis, in-depth analysis. And you can accompany these pages with your compositional profile analysis. Don't just write, I did this piece because I had to do it. Or I did this piece because my teacher told me to do it. Or I did this piece because I was feeling sad, and no, that won't cut it at all. Talk about how the music or the compositional devices that you have been using emotes that sad feeling. Is it minor tonality? Is it darker or lower instrument use? Is it muddy? Is it within an octave? Or is it nice and bright? Is it light? And so on and so forth. So be meticulous in your jargons used, and also in your analysis of what you're doing. You want to put your work out there and put as much information of it as possible, because nobody don't know it if you want. So you need to talk about it. So your paper 3, which has 2 profiles, there's also a compositional element to it, but CSEC highlights listening and appraising and performance. So in your listening and appraising aspect, you are required to choose one of 3 projects. So the first one is a music performance, the second one is a collection of advertisements, and the third is an interview of a Caribbean composer or performer. If you choose option A, which is your music performance, you should be able to use a proper recording device to record music 20 to 30 minutes in length that is being presented at a live performance. It means you have it today. Live performance, including the rationale for the selection of the performance and background data on the performance or the performers. Compare and contrast the structural and expressive elements and comment on the socio-cultural significance of the music. That's important. If you choose option B, which is a popular category, you're to record from radio or television 8 musical advertisements. Emphasis on musical. Analyze the structural and expressive elements of the music and comment on its socio-cultural significance with reference to the effectiveness of its appeal. And if you say, okay, I just want to do something else, and you choose option C, then you want to do a Caribbean performer or composer to investigate the music of a prominent person who is a performer or composer through interview on their career development, influences, method and mode of performing or composing, and achievements, and you should record works by that particular performer or composer 10 to 20 minutes in length. Analyze the music of their structural and expressive elements and comment on the socio-cultural significance. It means what's happening at the time, what's the impact of what is going on in the society on the music, or what's happening inform the performance. So, and of course, be verbose and with proper music analysis. Your SB assignments, so you have two performances. You have a solo performance, you have a group performance. So your solo performance is presenting a music 2 to 4 minutes in length from any genre, which should differ in style, tempo, and key from one that's going to be presented in paper 2. It should be of sufficient length and challenge to represent the candidate's level of competence. And by now, you should know if you're a foundation, intermediate, or advanced candidate. What CXC uses to identify your level is aligned to the Associated Board of Associate Board of Royal School of Music, ABRSM. So if you're a foundation, that means that you are reading up to grade level, reading and playing up to grade level 2. If you're intermediate, you're between 2 and 4, and if you're an advanced candidate, you're from 5 onwards. You're also to present one scale and arpeggio, sing or play one scale and arpeggio. Singers will do technical studies. The scale and arpeggio should be in the key of the piece presented. So don't have something in A minor and play D major scale. Be prepared. So the first thing before you practice, do the scale and arpeggio in the piece in the key that you are at. Percussionists, you are supposed to present a technical study or scale on a tuned percussion as well. So if you're playing congas or trap set or snare drum, try to see if you can get a tuned percussion to play at least 1 octave. The recommendation is 2, but you can get in 1. You're also supposed to present one ensemble performance, which is an instrumental or vocal piece performed in a group with a minimum of 2 persons, right, for 3 to 5 minutes. The candidate that's being examined in this group has to perform a clear and distinguishable role in the group. So they want to assess how well you are doing within the ensemble and the piece. Again, the grading rubric for paper 3, you should be familiar with this one. So use it as a guide to know what things are being assessed in your performance and how the allotment of the marks are given. This also is not for you necessarily, but it's good for you to know about it. This is what you call the moderation form. The form is what the examiners will be using for your paper 3 when they come to your center. Your teacher would have given all of these grades, so you'll see your 2 things, your LIP project and your performance profiles. So yes, the introduction is 4, the analysis is 23, the presentation is 3, which gives you a total of 30. Then the performance side, you have the solo, which is 19, the scale and arpeggio, which is 5, and the ensemble, which is 12. By the way, the ensembles are recommended to be scored. So these pieces, the same pieces that you would have done for this paper, you're going to do them again. And those will be moderated with the teacher. So it'd be good to know that you know those. Some other nuggets that are in the syllabus, aside from the assignments and the activities, you do have content that is presented in the syllabus, such as things on elements of music, which we'll do on a daily basis, and that will be right throughout the syllabus. You do have the table of the periods of music, so the Baroque, the classical, romantic, and 20th century, and so on and so forth. You have things on styles and genres, that you have there. You also have a glossary of terms. So if you're not familiar with the meaning of some of the things that you see, or you want to find out information of how to use words, the terms are there for your reference. There's also a repertoire, a recommended repertoire of pieces for particular instruments. So there are pieces for piano, pieces for flute, for recorder, for voice. I don't think there's any for percussion and some other things. So you can check those at your leisure. There's also a sample paper. I'm sure your teacher will make use of it. So you have a mock exam of what is to come. So that will be good for you. Some additional resources that are around. You don't, if you want to step outside of the syllabus, then this is not, it's not limited to these, but I put some that are popular out there. There's a workbook which I am a co-author with Miss Graham on CXC music. There's also a ABRSM. The books are there. You can find them online as well. There's also Alfred's Music Theory, Oxford Music Dictionary, and there are others that use John Thompson and others, other information. So if you're not clear on any information, you have the World Wide Web. There's AI. Use ChatGPT wisely. If you're getting information, ensure that you do not plagiarize and all these things. These nice and lovely things, right? You know how to use content properly in terms of our digital space. So all that is there. A note of thank you. I'm hoping that you are clearer if you weren't before on this process, and that you will use it as an opportunity for you to showcase your talent, showcase all that you're doing. If you had expressed an interest in music education, that means that you want to pursue it. You can. There are viable career paths in music, not just in teaching or performing, but others. CXC has presented 19 possible career choices, and there are a myriad of others outside of that. So you can make it in music education. Don't let anybody tell you different. If it's something that you want to do, then you have to work hard just as any other subject. So all the best to you in your exams, all the best in your preparations. Do the best that you can. Of course, check out the YouTube channel. There's some content there at Mr. Sar's Music Zone. There's a TikTok page as well, and there are other sites and websites on CXC Music and content that you can access. So if you're not sure, reach out to somebody. You can get the help needed. All the best to you. Well, good.